this info day about the European Innovation Council Accelerator topic on energy storage. We are organizing all these info days around the challenges this week, and my name is Annemarie Sasse. I'm the head of unit of the Program Manager's Office, and it are the program managers, the different ones that we have, that are each one of them presenting the challenges that they have developed in the work program 2023. If we can go to the agenda. So today we talk about the accelerator topic on energy storage. And we will start with a short overview of the different EIC funding programs. And after that, we will talk about the rationale for energy storage with our two program managers for energy, Marco Pantaleo and Francesco. Then we have Marco will continue describing in more detail the scope of the call. He will give some examples and key innovation needs. We will very touchily brief the evaluation process, and then he will also explain you what is proactive management, because this is an accelerator call, and if you are selected for this topic, you will also receive some services of the program managers, which we call proactive management, and he will also explain what that is. So we will start with an overview of the EIC funding programs. Can you go to the next slide, Marco, please? Yes, I want to remind you that this meeting is recorded. So the recording will be available for you on the same event webpage. We will also publish there all the slides. And if you have any questions, you can submit them in the Slido. So you see here the Slido, you need to put the event code challenges, and then you can put your questions. And that's very important, because this is your opportunity to ask any question that you have around this challenge to the program managers, and they can then answer your questions. That's exactly the purpose of this info day, why we are organizing it. So please don't be shy and ask all the questions that you have. I also want to remind you that we will not go into all details around how to submit a proposal. That type of information, it has been explained in the general info day of the 13th of December. And if you need that type of information, then we recommend you to watch the recording of that event. And there you can find really all the detailed other information that you need to submit a good proposal. So now, can we go to the next slide, please, Marco? Now I want to introduce you to the European Innovation Council. So European Innovation Council, it's part of Horizon Europe. Horizon Europe is a 100 billion euro program over 7 years. And the European Innovation Council constitutes about 10% of that, so around 10 billion euro over the 7 years. You see that Horizon Europe, it has 3 different pillars. The first one is on excellent science, and it has, for instance, the European Research Council. The second one is on global challenges and European industrial competitiveness. That's pillar 2. And the European Innovation Council is in pillar 3, Innovative Europe, together, for instance, with the European Institute of Innovation and Technology program. So energy-related research is also highly present in the other pillars, but the European Innovation Council, it distinguishes itself from the other pillars because we have a focus on bringing research to the market. Can we go to the next slide, please? And to bring this research to the market, we have 3 different instruments. The first one is Pathfinder. It focuses on low TRL research, so early stage research, but it has to be on breakthrough technology. So there should be really a high potential for this research to be able to develop very innovative products and services that we need. But the research is also still highly risky because it hasn't been proven yet in practice. With Pathfinder, you can get grants up to 3 to 4 million euro, and it's mainly for consortia. Then we have a second instrument, so that's called Transition. And Transition, it comes after Pathfinder. So in Pathfinder, the consortia, they develop a proof of concept. And either this can already be so good that it has reached TRL 6 and it can go immediately to the third instrument Accelerator, or it still needs a bit more technology maturation, and then it can be submitted to Transition. And in Transition, the idea is that you move the technology up from TRL 4 to TRL level 6. So Transition is also for consortia, but can also be for single entities. If you are already a company that wants to exploit the technology, company can apply a loan to Transition. And it goes, the objective is technology maturation from proof of concept to validation. So it really focuses on business and market readiness. And you can get a grant up to 2.5 million euro. And then the third instrument is Accelerator, and that is what is now the subject of this information session today. So Accelerator, it is for high TRLs, TRL 6 to 9. It's for individual SMEs, and you can develop and scale up disruptive innovations, and they have to be in the deep tech area. So Marco will also explain later what that means for energy storage, for instance. And then in Accelerator, you can get blended finance. That means you can have a grant part, which can be up to 2.5 million, but you can also get equity investments up to 15 million euro. So the ticket size, as we call it here, is much larger because that is needed for companies if they really want to scale up. So if we go to the next slide. Yes, we see again these three instruments, Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator. And I explained already that the technology readiness levels, they go up if you go from Pathfinder to Transition to Accelerator, but also the commercial readiness or the business readiness, it also goes up when you go from Pathfinder to Transition to Accelerator. So with every new instrument, you become more ready to bring your product to the market. And so the whole European Innovation Council, it really, the aim is to really bring research to the market as soon as possible. So we go from the what to the why, and we also accompany the beneficiaries in their entrepreneurial journey to bring their ideas to the market. If we go to the next slide. And we do that, we do not only provide financial support, but we also provide other services to the beneficiaries, which should really help the beneficiaries to be successful in their entrepreneurial journey. And there are three types of services that we deliver. The first one are business acceleration services. These are for all the projects, and through the business acceleration services, you can see the list on the right, on the left-hand side. We can provide access to entrepreneurs. We can provide access to mentors, to the ecosystem that you need to find your partners, peers, your clients. There are several trainings and workshops available to you. And for instance, one of the business advisory services that we organize are corporate days, where there is a corporate who could be very interested in the innovations coming from the startups, and then we we organize that the right startups from the EIC beneficiaries are able to discuss with the corporates, to make pitches, to show their innovations. And then the corporates can see whether they would like to team up with you to make use of the innovations that you have. But then a very important second novelty that we have in the European Innovation Council are the program managers. And so today you will meet 2 of them, but we have 10 in total program managers. And on the right-hand side, you can see the areas in which we have program managers. So health and biotech, medtech, space tech, quantum. I'm not going to read all of them. You can read yourself. And the program managers, they are in-house experts. They are hired for 4 years by the European Commission. And they have a task. They have 2 tasks. One is to develop a vision around an area where Europe has a lot of potential to develop breakthrough innovations. And they will define this vision as a challenge in the work program. So that's one part of their job. And the second part of the job is once the projects are selected, you apply to a call, we have an evaluation, and then we have the final selected projects. Then they work with these projects as a portfolio. And in the portfolio, what they try to achieve is that by working together, the projects really have an added value. So instead of working alone, 2 projects working alone, the idea is that the impact of working together really, we get 1 + 1 is 3 or even more. So this proactive portfolio management is something that we don't have in the rest of Horizon Europe, but we have it in the European Innovation Council. So if we go to the next slide. So this slide provides an overview of the 2023 work program of the European Innovation Council. So in total, we are allocating 1.6 billion euro to the whole program. And you see again the 3 instruments that we have: Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator. And each of them is designed in the same way. That is that about half of the funding goes to an open part, and anybody can submit a proposal on a topic that is of interest to the beneficiaries. So it's bottom up. And then half of it is top down, and this top down is related to the visions that the program managers have developed. And those are called the challenges. So in this slide, you see all the challenges that we have. Some are related to Pathfinder, others are related to transition, and then we also have the Accelerator challenges. So in this presentation today, we will talk about the Energy Storage Technologies Accelerator Challenge, but we are also organizing information days on all of the other challenges. So this afternoon, this afternoon, we will have the one on the transition topic, environmental intelligence. We can go to the next slide, please. And this slide shows an overview of the deadline and the budget that we have in the different calls. And for Accelerator, when you apply to an open call, there are 4 cutoff dates, of which 1 already passed. But for the challenges, you see there are 3. And the first one is 22nd of March, 7th of June, and 4th of October. So what that means is that you can submit your proposal at any time, which is convenient for you. And we then have cutoff dates where we will evaluate the proposals received until then. You also see the deadlines and budgets for Pathfinder and Transition. But with this, I want to finish my introduction to the workshop. I want to hand over to Marco to explain us more about the Energy Storage Accelerator Challenge.
I hope someone can activate my... Okay, it's activated. Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. I will share this presentation with my colleague, Program Manager Francesco Matteucci. So I asked Jenny to activate also his microphone.
Yeah, I mean, Marco. Good morning to everybody.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Let's go a bit more in detail into the ambition of this challenge on energy storage. And first of all, another more generic slide on the purpose of the accelerator, the EIC accelerator, which is exactly to attach the segment of high-risk emerging deep tech that are not enough technological mature to attract the attention of generalist venture funds or also corporate venture funds, but not so early stage to be specifically research and not with already a defined application and business model. So we are, let's say, at this specific kind of actors, applicants, keeping in mind that EIC funds both grant and equity with patient money, because we recognize that innovation needs a lot of perseverance, patience, and we support projects not only with grant but with equity and with let's say relatively longer time of recovery of the investment. So the positioning of EIC Accelerator is actually to mobilize, catalyze innovation in those spin-off, university spin-off, startup innovators that have a high risk but high gain, high value approach and ideas with TRL that could be also lower than 8, 9, could be also 5, 6, with a solution that is already proven technologically, but too risky to be funded easily by other instruments, by other funds. Francesco?
Yeah, exactly. Let me add two things. The first one is that we are open to all the SMEs, not only startups and spin-offs. And the second one, exactly as you said, we work also, as Anne-Marie said before, crowding in private investors. So we are also open to companies that already receive, for example, early stage investors investment, but our money, both grant and equity, want to crowd in more investors, and so to accelerate the market uptake of the innovations, providing all the help that we will describe shortly.
Yes, of course, because it's important. If you are funded also with equity, you need to provide the same amount of equity for other private investors. So there is this crowding effect, which is a clear guarantee of quality of the innovation. So we don't want to be the only investors, but we exactly want to de-risk investment, adding on top of what the other venture capital or other funding do. I go to the next slide.
Yeah.
This go more in detail into the opportunities, the broader opportunity in Horizon Europe of funding energy storage topic. So of course, this EIC Accelerator Challenge is not the only one at all. From more fundamental research side, we have ERC, but in Pillar 2, there are several opportunities also for innovator startups, small, medium enterprises to join consortia in the partnership, the clean hydrogen partnership in particular, also the other partnership, both co-programmed or institutional partnership, and as we will see briefly in the next slides, some specific calls, in particular in cluster 5, address energy storage, mainly batteries, but not only. So we encourage you also to have a look at this further opportunity. And of course, if you you are at more mature technological level, there is the innovation fund with budget with projects funded above 25 million euro, commercial scale plants that address storage, energy storage as one of the topic that are attached by the innovation fund, but also the PCI batteries, the funding instruments also of the EIT, that is part of the pillar 3, and the partnership on batteries. So I go on.
Yeah, one second. So yeah,
you want to add something on the battery partnership?
Yeah, only one thing, just to say the strategy of the European Commission. It is obvious we will discuss later about the importance of the energy storage, the crucial importance for the energy transition. And here, what Marco described, I like to describe in a few words, that is, European Commission understands how much is important energy storage and has developed the first real complete strategy to help all the European companies and ecosystem of innovators to set up what we call the ambidexterial approach. That means in the short term, if you are closer to the market, you can get the EIC, but also other opportunities for commercial installations and manufacturing. That can be the EPCI or the fund. The other way around, if we look more at the broader spectrum of the mid-long term development, so when we look also at the research side, because deep tech requires a strong scientific background, European Commission inside Pillar 1 and Pillar 2 is helping this kind of mid-long term strategy development, having developed once again a European strategy for the help of the energy storage uptake.
And one of our specific role and purpose in proactive management is exactly to facilitate these synergies and let our beneficiaries take the most of these opportunities, funding opportunities, finding other players, other funding instrument within and not only Horizon Europe. But also we work as program managers in the energy storage, also with different programs, in particular, as Anne-Marie explained, in Pathfinder, where we have already a portfolio of projects focused on different typology of energy storage, from electrical, electrochemical, chemical, thermomechanical, thermal, and the evaluation of the last Pathfinder challenge on mid to long duration energy storage launched last year with deadline in October 2020 is ongoing, and so we will add to this portfolio another challenge portfolio composed by the projects, the proposal retained in this call that we expect to finalize in the next months. These are also other opportunities to create synergies and critical mass around this techno-scientific topic.
Yes, and as program manager, we will show you later that the strategy of Marco and me and the new program manager recently arrived, Karina Faber, is really to focus our, let me say, group of projects, as Marco said, portfolio, having some shared components, some commonalities, and trying to help them. Nevertheless, they are different TRL, so technology development readiness. So we will see some of the things where we put as boundary condition, as requirement, that is the system integration of energy storage, the critical raw materials, the circularity. So all these kind of issues need to be discussed at different level. And so we work with the project, trying to group them and try, as Marco said before, to link them to different other kind of ideas and financial sources. They can be private or they can be public.
Thanks, Francesco. So, what is the rationale for energy storage? Why we selected this challenge? Well, the reasons are obvious and clear to all of you, but we are happy to remark some specific innovation gap and needs. For sure, we need storage to enable a fully decarbonized energy system, so to facilitate a large penetration of intermittent renewables, clean energy, but also circularity, and to facilitate sector coupling and systems integration. But there is another important component, the EU open strategic autonomy, we want to guarantee not only the security of energy supply, but also the security of raw material supply and critical raw material supply. And we want to facilitate the development, not only EIC Accelerator, of course, but as part of the broader effort of the European Union, we want to guarantee a technological autonomy of Europe in the development of critical components to enable both the decarbonization, the digital transition, and energy relies a lot on critical materials. If we think, for instance, about lithium-ion batteries, and this is a specific aspect that is captured in this challenge. But we also want to reduce the cost of energy and so have a more affordable and competitive energy system. This affects, also the possibility to avoid renewables curtailments, but also to integrate demand response solutions and facilitate higher public engagement in the energy sector, because storage is also a key aspect of the end users to enable demand side management. So what are some the main innovation gaps in energy storage that we see? The capability to define system and process integration and sector coupling. Power to X is one example, but not only, and this is part of this challenge. The needs for circularity and critical raw materials to rely on domestic EU supply chains. Opportunities, some areas such as decarbonization of heating and cooling, thanks to the storage, and to facilitate energy efficiency measures thanks to the possibility to rely on energy storage, and opportunities to develop storage as a service, digital energy, where the control and the optimization of storage assets is crucial. Francesco?
Yeah, let me remind, please, who is interested to ask questions, because obviously Mark and me, we can miss something, we can be not clear. Please go on Slido, put the hashtag challenges and make the questions so we can get all the information. And just to add one important thing that Marco already said, but if we go to the next slide, one of the most important things that we are trying to bridge within all the calls that Marco, me and Karina are writing is what Marco said before, the supply chain of the critical raw materials. We all know, and these are two examples of the Critical Raw Material Act on the right side and of the paper from the critical materials for the different advanced energy sector. We know that we have to rely on, let me say, secure, affordable, and reliable supply chain for our raw materials. We can give, I mean, a lot of examples ranging from silicon PV, going to rare earth magnets in permanent magnet generator in wind turbine. As Marco said, in lithium-ion batteries, we have to be able to know that we need two ways. The first one is a domestic critical raw materials use. That means they have not to be critical. There has not to be a link with the political availability or the amount availability. And the second one is the circularity. We need eventually to consider, since the design of the product of the future, the circularity, what is said, the life cycle thinking. So, and this is something that is important, as we show, and as we all know, in energy storage, there are already strong investment by European Commission, for example, in the first lithium-ion gigafactories, but we also want to see new chemistries coming out of this small medium enterprise accelerator. We want to see the possibility to use different kind of phase change materials in thermals, and we want so this to be one of the driving force of the portfolio of EIC. Thank you, Marco.
Thanks, Francesco. So a couple of slides on signals that we captured from venture capitalist sector, which informed also us on the selection of this challenge. We went through high-level reports from major scientific, let's say in investment intelligence companies from clean Tech, Deer Room, PitchBook, and so on. And we have the evidence that the highest emerging deep tech sector in 22 is novel energy against artificial intelligence and other manufacturing and other sectors. And in this field of novel energy, most of the funding was attracted by hydrogen, grid scale energy storage, mid to long duration in most cases, and supercapacitor batteries to attach the small duration segment. So this is one evidence of a lot of interest that these technologies are attracting. I go on to the next slide, Francesco. Maybe you can add something here.
Yeah, I think here, as Marco said, as program managers, we are entitled, we have the responsibility to put our vision as an internal expert of European Commission. And so when we, with Marco, with Karina, with all the other colleagues, we do this discussions, these interviews, this horizon scanning work to identify the challenges, we obviously study and work out from papers, from reports, but also this kind of reports and this kind of discussion with the VC, because as Marco said at the beginning, we want really to put the effort of our money where the VC are not yet sure. So that is one of the big quality of EIC. All our valuation process that we will shortly describe at the end of this one wants exactly to do this. That is why as program manager, we are active observer during the evaluation, because let me say, these are little sons and daughters for us, these kind of challenges. And here what we see, as Marco said, we see an increasing amount of money flowing inside the pockets of the small, medium enterprises and startups worldwide. But we see that for sure energy storage is increasing. But once again, most of the technologies that we study and we see funded are normally, we call them conventional. We say, yeah, it's deep tech, but it's not the kind of deep tech high risk where we want to invest the money. So this year, this is what our call is, the call for, let me say, applicants, small, medium enterprises to be, we want to see risky projects with TRL already ready, so we're prototype tested in relevant environmental condition, but we will help this kind of technologies ranging from all the kind of energy storage that already discussed and we will discuss later, because we really feel that Europe needs this kind of late, let me say, deep tech coming out from the lab, but not yet ready for the market. And so we will fund, as Marco said, all the chemical, electrochemical, thermal, mechanical kind of technologies, but we want this to be done in a, let me say, with a strong scientific basis, where the risk, and we see also here, coming from the different sources, how much, once again, energy storage in 2022 has been the highest recorded funded. But we think that this kind of funding in Europe needs to be pushed also at high risk technologies.
Just to have a broader picture of the market landscape in energy storage, here you see an elaboration of from Clean Tech report, where we added some more startups, companies, and the highlighted, the circled one are funded by EIC Accelerator. The graph shows the different technologies against power size and the duration of the storage. We see that the electrochemical batteries attracted most of the total budget in the last years, with about $8 billion US dollars. But what is fast increasing, because specifically of the needs of the energy system, is the mid to long duration storage, including different kind of electrochemical storage, with flow batteries, for instance, emerging with metal air batteries, or chemical storage, thermomechanical storage. Here you can have a picture of different options. All of them are included, and several of the startups that are, let's say, dominating the innovation market in these years are also funded, of course, European, are also funded by the EIC Accelerator, or some of them SMI instruments that was transformed then in EIC Accelerator. Francesco,
yes, just to add that now, before going, let me say more on the boring part of the call that will start from the next slide. Just to conclude, I think that we gave the broad spectrum of all the kind of signals that we got from the different databases that we showed. There are many more that we didn't show, not to bore you again. And let me add one thing. Thanks to the colleague from the Business Acceleration Services, and thanks to the program manager, and thanks to the project officer that work with the projects on the project management, I think that the team that the EIC has put on place is really providing a good, let me say, acceleration, a good booster for all our small medium enterprises. So that's a call for everybody, for all the small medium enterprises, to be courageous. We know that to apply to the accelerator is not an easy job. It requires time, but it is worthwhile for sure. The connections and all the kind of, let me say, interactions that EIC has with all the investors allows, let me say, not only the funding, but also the seal of excellence received from the EIC to be a very good, let me say, passport to show to the other investors or to the national committees when you look for money. So we are here, as you see. Normally the companies, as Marco said before, that got the equity, they have to show us from the equity from us that has to be at least 1-to-1 from private investor. But let us say that we didn't get so many problems from the companies we funded, because EIC is providing this kind of help, and not only money, but what we call the smart money. And here we see that some of these companies that you see in the circle that Marco described already are attracting much more private investors, starting since 2018 or 2017, when first the small medium enterprise, the SME tool, and now the accelerator are providing money.
Thanks. So let's go again to background. We already explained the driving force for this is clear, obviously, clean, affordable and secure energy. What inspired us is the set plan, the Horizon Europe set plan from one side, but also the Green Deal, the Repower EU, the Fit for 55, and now the Net Zero Industry Act that is ongoing, and as well also Repower Next Generation EU. But what we are focusing on is on the possibility to store both electrical or thermal energy at low cost, high density, high charging discharging efficiency, and potentially with proper suitable dynamics of fast charging and low discharging, or the opposite, so low charging and fast discharging to enable, for instance, electric vehicles fast charging capabilities, or for different duration from short to long. All are eligible, so all the duration are eligible for this call, that enable a flexible, fully integrated energy system, also coupled to other sectors, water management, chemical sector. So this possibility to store energy and with sector coupling is fully captured in the challenge, together with the main aim to increase and facilitate a higher share of intermittent renewable energy in a secure way, in avoiding curtailment in the energy system, addressing both the spatial and temporal mismatch between generation and demand. So not only the temporal one, but also the special one. It's crucial for this reason to develop a range of breakthrough solutions for electric and thermal energy, and the ambition is to scale up these technologies to address new technological autonomy. I can go on, Francesco?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So more in detail, specific objectives of the call are technology to store electric and or thermal energy.
Marco, you have to switch the slide.
I did it. This is scope, specific objective of the call.
I still see background and scope. Okay, no, but Johannes is telling me that we are on the, okay, now it came.
Okay, so technology to store electric and thermal energy, low cost, high density, high charging discharging efficiency, enhance durability without use of critical raw material, or demonstrated the full reuse of recycled critical raw materials. We want to address a broad range of technological approach from chemical to electrical, electrochemical, mechanical, thermal, combined for energy storage, different scale level, both for mobility and stationary application, different duration and uses, including their hybridization, so combined short and long duration storage. Technologies that embrace circular and life cycle thinking approach, and also we include the smart operation and control of storage assets, so their integration with demand response strategies, predictive maintenance, load forecasting, decentralized renewable energy technologies, and novel business models such as storage as a service to increase the flexibility of energy system, facilitate demand response options, and the combination of decentralized generation and final end uses of energy.
Yeah, let me say here, Marco, that this call is very broad because we really want to push all the kind of innovations based on science within the energy storage. So you see that we didn't limit it to electric, but we also obviously put the thermal. We didn't limit it to a certain kind of technological approach, but we put all the kind. We didn't limit to the only hardware, but we also allow software and software as a service and software as a service in particular of hardware, because in deep tech, it does not exist scientific definition of deep tech, but most of deep tech is hardware. But we want also the software part here, as we say, to develop the storage as a service. So we really want to give to the SMEs the possibility to broaden their spectrum of technologies and to go inside new kind of high risk technologies. But what is important, let me repeat, is that the TRL where you start, you have to arrive and to apply once your technology has been tested in the relevant environmental conditions. Because as I said, it's a long way to apply to get the answers. We will also then allow the Q&A session, and I imagine that also some project management questions, they will be here, and we will have our colleagues, project officer, answering. And what we always discuss is that it is important to know the boundary conditions. So please read carefully the work program and which are the boundary conditions to apply. Here we see from the technological point of view that there is a broad spectrum, but we want the technology to be, once again, deep tech, so high risk. Because we want, if you go to the next one, exactly to have as expected outcomes and impacts, as Marco said before, we want their energy storage to sustain, to allow, to make real the wide of decarbonized energy systems. So help the intermittent, mainly today on the market, wind and solar PV, because these are the driving force based on the base load of the hydroelectric or of the geothermal. We have the big increase, and we expect to be in the next years the strong increase once again of the intermittent. So the impact that we can get thanks to this technology is really important, to have them interconnected, sector coupled. Because thanks to the sector coupling, we will see some examples. We can enable a flexible energy system, the going from the centralized to the decentralized to the distributed future energy system. And most important, we have seen due to the recent war events how much is important the energy security. So we need to avoid to rely on unreliable suppliers of energy. And so we need the Europe to have its energy security thanks to its internal way of making energy from renewables, store it, and then use it when it is necessary. So this call is open to all the short, medium, and long-term energy storage technologies. So all the broad spectrum, ranging from the stationary application to the mobility one.
And some more details on the alignment with EU policies we already described. We start, of course, from the ambition of the set plan and the Green Deal, Next Generation EU, Fit for 55, Repower EU. But also there are a lot of potential synergies, and I invite you to have a look not only to this list of open calls in cluster 5 related to batteries, energy storage. So the interested potential applicants could also have a look at further funding opportunities within Pillar 2. But of course, if it is the case, we, as already said, we will try to facilitate on the synergies with other funding instruments for our beneficiaries during the execution of the project, or on the basis of the ambition and the scope of the different funding instruments. These are mainly innovation actions or research and innovation actions, so may or may not be also suitable for a startup that apply for the accelerator. But please also have a look, in particular, Destination 2, Destination 3, and 5 of the Cluster 5, where there are most of the call, in particular, the one related to a competitive and sustainable EU battery value chain, from the partnership on batteries, the co-program partnership on batteries.
Yeah, we will share this slide so you can have a deep look. And let me say that Marco, me, and Karina, when we identify as all the program managers the challenges, obviously before doing this, we are part of the co-working groups that writes the call for Cluster 2, sorry, for Pillar 2, Cluster 4, 5, and 6. And so you may ask, but why this EIC accelerator is so broad? Because as we repeat continuously, this is a mono-beneficiary small medium enterprises open, starting from TRL 5. And what we provide is this requirement, this boundary condition of the mono beneficiary, and what we give is this help, this, let me say, smart money that we provide. So here you can find more focused calls. What we want to fund are more broad technologies with a focus on energy storage. That's the peculiarity. But for sure, you have to study, this is our suggestion, all the kind of possibility to get funds for your technology from public as well as private ones.
Yes, a couple of slides of some examples of a potential innovation that we would like to capture. Of course, not exhaustive at all, but here you see just the need for mid to long duration storage from tens to hundreds of hours of storage duration. That is needed more and more when we increase the share of wind and PV in our power system. This is a picture from Cleantech on the number of coal fossil fuel plants installed worldwide that could be refurbished to become storage assets. This is an interesting option opportunities because we can in a way recover some infrastructures, change the operation, the purpose, and use some new technologies of energy storage to fully decarbonize the energy system, providing, if possible, power system reliability, inertia, stability to the system that is needed if we have a lot of wind and PV, but on the other side, going out of fossil fuels, coal in particular. So some solutions that are aimed to face with existing energy infrastructure, power system infrastructure, refurbish in the direction of increased percentage of storage assets are in scope, but also we don't want to address only the mismatch, the temporal mismatch, so intermittence of renewable generation and mismatch demand supply, but also the very important special mismatch. So grid constraints are major barriers to our net zero energy system. Storage per se won't be sufficient to fully decarbonize the energy system, because even if we match, we address the temporal mismatch with energy storage, we still have this issue of grid constraints. What is solution here? From one side, sector coupling, rely on power to heat, power to gas, and using other energy system infrastructure to reinforce the flexibility and of the power system, and so facilitating a fully decarbonated net zero energy system. And so solutions that address this special mismatch, for instance, taking waste heat from an area and transporting it to another place where there is the demand, are promising, interesting, and are needed, together with the combination of demand response and storage. This special mismatch means bring energy where it is produced, generated, or wasted, to recover them, to the place where there is the demand, which sometimes are not the same, and we need proper transport, proper infrastructure to address this special mismatch. I go yes, here to some other flavors of potential ideas. For instance, you see here the combined energy storage and CO2 capture, which is power to X, so producing fuels with energy, with electricity. It is part of the call, together with the integration in the chemical sector, with the production of materials and chemicals where energy can be stored embedded. The use of thermal storage in intermittent industrial processes, in steel production, for instance, to avoid waste heat discharge and store this waste heat and integrate into an industrial process with nice industrial symbiosis opportunities. Or the heat decarbonization that is more and more important due to the price volatility and the high cost of natural gas. So we can see that this solution to use electricity to produce a high temperature heat is not anymore so crazy from both a thermodynamic and economic point of view, but is profitable, and we need some innovation to increase the energy density, to increase the efficiency of this solution, to facilitate their integration in the energy demand. So these are just a few ideas, not exhaustive. We could have presented some more about mobility and so on, but
let us exactly say that these are examples. We see also a reference to materials as a storing medium, because we have got our new PM Karina that will focus our activities in the field of electrified fuels, for example, more than solar fuels. And we need, as Marco was saying, a lot of activities, but for sure we are fully aware, and these are all the examples, that we need also technology in the short term, so energy storage for the different kind of application that can be obviously super caps. So we already have some of this in our portfolio on the mobility side, and there is the strong connections between the projects. This is where I think that the smart money of EIC is really useful, because let me repeat that the team of the project officer on the project management side, of the business acceleration services provided as external, but also as internal know-how from the program manager, can allow our beneficiaries to really better identify their business model. It's obvious that for a small medium enterprise, normally the best thing is to immediately find the stakeholders and the first customers, and here we can help. We know anyway that it's necessary at a certain point to look also at other kind of market. They can be different market, to focus first on the ongoing ones where you can get the first revenues and get your harmonized or standardized product, but also to look at other complementarities. And once again, here is we want to see the possibility to help our beneficiaries to work at a broader spectrum, really to scale up their company and to let really Europe have a safe and future renewable energy and flexible energy system.
Yes, we see here a snapshot of the evaluation process. That is 4 steps.
Let me, sorry, Marco, if I jump. Let me say that obviously now these are the last slide, and then we will have the Q&A. So please go on Slido, put your Q&A. There is also our colleague Rizafis and Chiara that will help Marco and me to answer the questions. And here we see the process And here we have to emphasize the transparency of our process. So we emphasize the fact that we are looking continuously for experts. So there is a possibility in our internet site of EIC to apply to become an expert, a remote evaluators, or to have the part as a jury member. Here we see that first we have the 4 steps of the accelerator evaluation process, starting with a short application, then going inside the full proposal, where in case you arrive to the full proposal, there's the possibility to have our artificial intelligence tool to write your full proposal, and also coaching. We provide coaching to help you better phrase and write your full proposal. And then when you submit, we have got the 2 ways of evaluation, the remote ones, and if you overcome the remote evaluators, there will be the pitch in front of the jury members. Jury members come from different backgrounds, ranging from mainly the VC part, but also the entrepreneurial part or the innovation management side. And as program manager, together with the project officer, we work also with the jury members. As a program manager, being in particular in the challenge, having been written by us, we act together with the jury members. And here what is important is really the possibility, if not funded, to receive the seal of excellence. And once again, to really, I think that it's really worthwhile to apply, because thanks to the process, you can also look deeper and get more a strategical point of view to your business models as well as to your technology.
Okay, maybe we should describe a little bit quickly that the process is composed by 4 steps. You first have an idea, you write just 5 pages to present it in the first step, where remote evaluators evaluate this. Here we don't need an unanimous consent, so even if you have not 100% go, you can go on to the second step, where we help you to develop your business model, your idea, with specific coaching, and to produce a full proposal as from the format, the standard available on the website. And so the business plan and proposal with a AI tool and coaching. And then you go to another remote evaluation in step 3, where here we need unanimous consent for the go. Again, remote evaluators, 3 remote evaluators. And if you are successful, you go to the pitch with a jury member composed by 5 jury members. You present your idea, and you have the opportunity to ask for grant, equity, blended finance, and so on. I go on with this, Francesco, I cannot see you anymore. I go on with with this. What is our role in the follow-up of the project, proactive management? Well, we together with project officers, we help in the project implementation. Project officer, I have a very specific role to address milestone, the negotiation, the grant agreement, and all these standard administrative role as well. We participate to more technical discussion, trying to facilitate matchmaking with venture capital for fundraising, potential contacts with interested corporates and other investors, facilitating of access to open innovation test beds and EU research infrastructure, or other synergies with other EU funding mechanism, and also activities on definition of business plan, the market opportunities, positioning in the market, and so on. Francesco, you want to add more? Well, there is also the comment you can say about the regulation standards and our role activities in innovation deal, and then we've done.
I think that the most important thing of all this long list and of this presentation is once again the fact that as program manager, we are lucky enough to speak with a lot of people, with a lot of experts. And so this is the strategic help that we can give to the accelerator. Consider that for the project management, the project officer, are long-term, let me say, stabilized employees of European Innovation Council. So they take care of all the project management. As program manager, what we can provide in this strategic view are many different things. We anyway work with many projects, and that's on one side the big advantage of us. On the other side, the not big advantage, because we cannot dedicate a lot of time to each project. But thanks to this team that is not only the project officer and program manager, but it is also the business acceleration services. I think that we can really, after 2 years, 1 year and a half of departure of EIC, say that we can give quite a very good understanding of the technology and help to our beneficiaries. Anyway, for all the information, if we go to the last slide, Marco, we see that all the kind of information, let me say the Bible, is always the EIC 2023 work program. And here you can get the link. Anyway, from all the procedural point of view, there is you find all the recorded general info day, and here you find the link. Anyway, there is the strong network of national contact points in each member state that are giving and are continuously giving good information to all the applicants. So please consider to go to the national contact point to discuss with them what are your needs and try to understand how they can help you. They are the local contact point where they can help. And then if there is nothing more, we stayed exactly in the 45 minutes and we opened the session for the Q&A on Slido. We thank, I don't know how now it works. I think Giuliana will come, Marco, and share the Slido question. And you, me, Chiara, that I thank for being here, and Akis, we will decide who answer to what. Okay, I don't know, Chiara, can you see the Slido?
Yes.
Okay. The first one is, which is the best way to demonstrate the TRL of your proposal? I mean, when you write your proposal, the best way is to write that where you reached and where you are at the TRL. There is also the opportunity to record a 3 minutes video and to upload it. So that's the possibility also to show where you are, to make the presentation of your technology. But for sure, you have to write it, because this is one of the prerequisites and the requirements and the eligibility criteria that is looked already at the short-term part. I give the floor to Chiara. And then
if I can say, the way to demonstrate is to show a track record of customers that want their solution, so that it is in a way already available. So maybe patenting, that is a proof, of course, of its value, and way to demonstrate TRL also the capability, the availability of a plant that operates, that produce already something. So there are opportunities to demonstrate the technological maturity, that you already have something that works, and even sometimes that has some customers.
Yeah, customers, obviously at TRL5, it's quite difficult because the technology on the market, but let us say partnership. So the possibility to show that there are stakeholders interested in your technology and available to help you in scaling up, so they trust in your team and in your technology. You go, Chiara?
Yes, I wanted just to add that while building your full proposal, you will be also guided through the tool to explain what has been already demonstrated for your technology. So you will have the possibility to state your patent situation, how many pilots did you have. So the tool will help you to also establish and answer correctly to the question, what is your TRL level at the moment, based on the activity that you have already completed and the one that you plan with the action, in fact.
Then regarding the portfolio management, no, the projects are evaluated individually, disregarding any connection with other projects. This is not the case for Pathfinder Challenge, of course. So there is no influence of portfolio management in the selection of the grantees after the composition of the portfolio, but there could be interactions among them. But this is not only not mandatory at all and not written in the grant agreement, but may or may not happen on the basis of specific opportunities and requirements. So the concept of portfolio does not apply at all, as in the case of Pathfinder.
Yeah. Then if we look at the critical raw materials and energy storage, the elaboration is quite easy. It is written that we want technologies to implement the second life of the technology, so the circularity or the avoiding the critical raw materials. This is a prerequisite, once again linked to the technology. So we want the technologies that we will fund to show that they are doing something to avoid the use of critical raw materials or to fully recycle it. And that is strongly linked, for example, in energy storage. If we look, for example, at new technologies where the critical raw materials are strongly necessary, what we ask to the applicants is try to show that in their technology development plan, there are also possibilities to overcome this limitation. We are really aware of the difficulties in setting up the complete avoidance of critical raw materials, but this is something that we want our applicants to be able to work on. And if we look at the policy aspect, we can give an example on the second life of batteries. In terms of policies, there is a strong push. In December, there has been the first ever European Parliament law on second life of batteries. And for sure, the policy aspect is linked to the fact that, I mean, the estimation of the development of the market is, as Marco said before, strongly linked to the need of all the policies and all the acts that European Commission is doing, ranging from the Green Deal to the Repower EU. Here we see that for sure storage will be a strong part of the future market, not only in Europe, but worldwide.
Well, regarding piloting in the UK, we need to check.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I can help on
Okay.
this. Piloting means if you want to have, of course, some demonstration activities with partner in UK, this is not a problem. There are no limitation in that sense. The limitation comes when applying with an entity established in the UK, which, as you know, is not possible at the moment due to the accession agreement.
Okay, it is necessary to demonstrate full user as per your slide 20. The text of the talk talks about maximizing it. Yeah, if in the text, if the word program is written maximizing it, the Bible is a word program. So if we said full and there it's written maximizing, I repeat, the Bible is is a word program. So you have to take care of looking at that part of the text.
Yes, of course, you are always eligible to reapply in an open call. Chiara, probably there are some restrictions. If you are not successful, you have to wait.
Yes, indeed. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yes, there are some limitation on the number of time you can apply to our call, and this is very well detailed in the work packet in the work program. So I advise you to read carefully. Let's not enter into the explanation how many time, because depends on many other conditions. So the work program explain very well this aspect.
Well, in fact, it is not a strict requirement that TRL has to be 6.8. Could be 6.8. Could be also a bit lower. Could be 5. Could not be a proof of concept only. That's clear.
We start from TRL 5, but here the innovative, I mean, we are not speaking about breakthrough innovations. That means that nobody ever tested it before. So innovative technologies here, it means that we do not fund the most of the incremental innovation that was the characteristic of the small, medium enterprises. We are trying to fund most of the breakthrough innovation, but breakthrough innovation doesn't mean that someone else ever tried. Okay, it means that it has been tested in this case, innovative for the TRL 5 app where we are funding. If we take for the example of flow batteries, you can have new kind of developments in the new chemistries, and they are innovative. Nevertheless, you show that you are a TRL 5. The same can be done for the thermal. In the phase change materials, obviously, it is not ever showed. Innovative in this case has not the definition of the patenting process, where innovative means never done before, never published before. Obviously, and as also Marco said before, an added value can be the intellectual property. It can be industrial secret, it can be patent granted or patent pending. It depends. But here, innovative is not never done before. The question on the diagnosis of the binding step to move forward presenting the short code.
Yeah, maybe Chiara could help.
Yeah. I don't know, Chiara, what does it mean if you know this question? Is the diagnosis a binding step to move forward? I don't know what does it mean, diagnosis.
Presented, probably is a step that enable the submission of in the first step.
It has also arrived. 1 second, Marco. Also, Akis is here with us. Hi, Akis.
Yes, no, I really, maybe this question can be reformulated a bit
okay, yeah.
clearer, because I don't understand what
does it mean?
referring to.
Okay,
Innovation in battery component. I believe yes here.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are not asking the innovation at the full spectrum of all the components, also at the single component that then can be upgraded inside the energy system. Sorry, inside the energy storage system. We are currently on the cool-off period. After that is over, 2 weeks. I don't know, Chiara or Akis, if you know this answer.
Again, also here, if you have already passed through the step 1, then and you have been and you want to resubmit, I think you will be able to restart the process. What do you mean when you say cool-off period? Like you are not able to resubmit, then I would say you start again from step 1 at the next available cutoff.
Yeah, in terms of the last question on the electrochemical energy storage, I understand it is far from obvious because TRL are not the best way. I do not like a lot TRL, but this is the most used way of categorizing. So let me say, if we remove the TRL5, what is the relevant is that we want our applicants to apply once their prototype has been tested in the relevant environmental conditions. This is the definition. What does it mean? If we look at the proof of concept or proof of principle in the innovation management, let me say literature, this means that you have got a device, you are testing it inside your lab. The other way around is to have a prototype that is an evolution of the proof of concept, is similar to a product, but it's not a product because we never sold it out. Prototype means that you have got your kind of a ready future product. It's not yet a product. And the other way around, you are testing it in the relevant environmental conditions. That means if you are speaking about a thermal storage technology or electrochemical, you cannot test it in your lab under simulations. We want it to be tested, once again, in the relevant environmental condition, in a system to show if it works. If you want to develop a membrane, you need to install it inside a system, and you have to show that there it works. And as Marco said, and as I said, it has to show that it's gotten higher density and all the other requirements that are written inside the work program. You see that it's 10:45. If there are no more questions, Giuliana, we thank all the listeners. We thank Akis, myself, Chiara, and Marco. And I would say we wait other few seconds. I don't know, Chiara, Akis, Marco, if you want to add something. Otherwise, we stop recording.
From our side, we can remind to read carefully for the eligibility criteria and the specificity of the Accelerator. The work program is your Bible. Most of the answer can be found in the work program, but of course there is also a question and answer document available on the EIC website for the Accelerator. The investment guidelines are also available on our website. And maybe the net of the NCP is always a good reference point to clarify all your doubts before submitting your proposal.
Okay, so we thank everybody for the listen. We hope it was useful, and see you on the interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.